The Brands Hatch circuit in the UK has to be one of the most fun tracks to drive on the edge with any car. This permanent road course has plenty of elevation change, tricky corners, and one of the most intense sequences of same direction corners I can ever think of. We are going to be using a GT4 car in Project Cars for this guide. Keep in mind that every car will drive the same track differently, and each sim will have slightly different versions of the tracks. This guide should be used as a starting point for getting the car you're driving around the track faster. As we cross the line to start the lap, we want to be as far to the left as possible. The first corner is the legendary Paddock Hill Bend, a steep decline right-hander with a punishing gravel trap to the left that is oh so easy to drop a wheel into. With this car, I found that around the center of this section of yellow and black signs is a good place to start applying about 50% brake while we hang to the left of the track a little more. Paddock Hill is really a late apex corner because of its shape, but also because you need the car as pointed towards the exit as possible before you start going down the steepest part of the hill. With the green runoff to the left is where we begin turn-in, looking for this blind late apex. Once you hit it, apply as much throttle as possible and zoom down the hill, using the curbs on the left. Up the Pilgrim's Rise, we're going to hang to the left of the track and hit the brakes hard once we enter the shadow from the bridge. This braking zone is uphill, which will help the car slow down for the Druid's hairpin. In Druids, you want to aim to get your front right wheel on the curb. The curb is pretty shallow in most sims, so it should be a safe bet to help make your line tighter. Once you can, accelerate out of the hairpin and out onto the left-hand side of the track. Setting up for the next corner is crucial here. You need to be on the right side of the track, but before the left-hander at the bottom of the hill, the track itself bends to the left slightly as well, around the middle of the hill. So you need to line up with the right side of the track after that bend to avoid wasted effort. The tiny curbs to the right are usually a good brake marker as we sweep into the left-hander, but keep in mind we are coming down a hill, braking, and then immediately turning. There is a lot of weight transfer in the car, and it's easy to lose the rear as you begin turning. Aim to clip the apex and then accelerate and run out wide. The grass covers may be slippery depending on the car and sim, so you can use slightly less throttle over them if they cause problems. Keep to the right down this straight and get ready for this tricky little late apex uphill corner that's coming. I use the kink in the guardrail as my marker for this corner. It's a bit early because we're looking at slightly trail braking and keeping out wide. This is a late apex corner leading onto a straight, so you need to focus on exit here. This turn-in and apex is tricky, but once you find the apex and get pointed, slam the throttle and focus on getting as much speed as possible up this little hill. Keep to the right of the track here, because you can use the slight right-hand kink as a smooth crossing point to the left-hand side of the track. Up the hill, we'll find another tricky corner kicking off an intense series of right-handers. I use the kink in the guardrail as my marker to brake slightly as we want an early apex for this uphill corner and get the car pointed as much as possible leading onto this tiny straight. The elevation rate reduces in the middle of this corner here, which can make for some high-speed corrections and a tricky exit. Using the board on the left, we brake hard initially for this corner, which is tight but fast. The apex is a good aim here to get the car pointed, because running wide on exit usually means disaster. We'll keep to the left down the hill and mostly through the slight bend because we are getting ready for a slick and tight right-hander over a crest. Again, braking at the kink in the guardrail and turning in pretty early, hopping the curbs if your car allows, and giving as much room as possible to slide out wide after the crest. Recover the steering and quickly get to the right side of the road, braking at the 50-meter board for this approximately 90-degree left-hander. This corner is cambered in, allowing us to take it a bit faster as the road will help slow down the car if you take a tight apex through the inside of the corner. Now moving to the left side of the road slowly, we get set for the deceptively tricky Clark curve. This corner is an early apex over a crest and needs a lot of room on the outside for the car to drift wide. It's important to get a pointed and early apex here. I'm braking just before the Indy course connection on the right, which was a bit early for this car, but aiming for that early apex, I caught a little bit of curb, which is steep and over a crest, and sent the car two-wheeling for a couple of seconds, but proving the point that you need to point the car in early there so you have room to drift out wide as you recover the car, intentional or not. As we climb the short hill, the inside is all for the taking to make the lap a tiny bit faster and then return to the left side of the track, getting ready for Paddock Hill once again. That's it from Brands Hatch, a deceptively tricky track indeed, and the end of the guide. I hope you all enjoyed that. It was a new type of video for me and one that I enjoyed making quite a bit actually. If you enjoyed it, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and there will be more coming. We'll see you next time. Many thanks for watching.